What a lot of people love about Unity is our spontaneity.
And our total irreverence.
Turn me down a little bit, Leonard. Actually, we're being totally reverent to you, to each and every one of you. No matter what you look like, no matter what your beliefs are, no matter what you've done in life so far, no matter what you're planning to do, we're looking at the God in you. So we're paying total reverence to life itself, to everyone that has that spark of divinity within. That's the second principle of unity, right? That if God is good, then we are also inherently good. That we have that Christ light within us, that spark of divinity. And the question is today, how much can you include into your own consciousness, into yourself, to allow that spark to begin to grow and burn brightly as a flame of divine, beautiful, perfect love and energy and creativity and power and presence and abundance that you are. Because all those things aren't coming from outside of you. They're coming from within. They're coming from within your consciousness, within your heart and mind, and they're being painted on this canvas we call the world. And so I'm calling on you to be that perfect artist that's painting the picture of your life, co-creating with God, with the divine spirit. You are a co-creator. And you are being called upon to create something beautiful and wonderful and magnificent, and you can't do it alone. We have to include all of our brothers and sisters in this process. And so we are on a spiritual journey. We are students of truth. We have a great opportunity as students of truth. The opportunity is to manifest a life that not only we desire for ourselves, but also cares for others. We have an opportunity, we have a great challenge, and we also have a mission in this life. If we want to create a beautiful, abundant, and meaningful life for ourselves and those around us, the challenge is going to be to open our hearts to include all living beings. Because we're not going to be able to separate someone out, place them outside of us, and still be happy. There's no such things as winners and losers. There are only winners and winners. If somebody's losing, so am I. There's winners and winners. And we begin to win in the game of life when we put aside all of our hatred and all of our differences, and we begin to embrace our diversity. And that brings us to our mission. We have a great opportunity to manifest the life we want. We have a great challenge to include everyone in with our wonderful experience of life. And our mission is to welcome diversity as a vital part of our growth. Not only as a spiritual community, but as a human family. As one human family. And the way I've found to do that is through spiritual practice. Is through the practice of compassion and the practice of allowing myself to transform from the separate being I thought I was to an aware being, a being that knows that and feels and experiences that it is one with everything. You mentioned Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer's favorite teaching is the I Ching, and the I Ching, some say. And the I Ching was written by Lao Tzu, the great spiritual master. Before Jesus, there's the big three, I call them, Jesus, Buddha, and Lao Tzu. And we forget a lot about Lao Tzu. And he was the primary spiritual teacher and inspiration for Wayne Dyer. And he says something very beautiful. He says, if you want to awaken the world, you have to awaken all of yourself. If you want all of the world to awaken, you have to awaken every part of your being. If you want to eliminate the darkness of the world, you have to eliminate all that is dark within you. That's the key. And that's our great challenge and opportunity. because you're the first recipient of the blessings of that process. You're the first recipient of the miracles that you want to see in the world. So it's a wonderful thing that you not only are the agent of change, but the change happens to you. And it's a very different way of looking at the world and at others, because you're not asking the world to change, you're not asking others to change. You're demonstrating that which you want to see in the world. And what happens? You get happier and happier and happier. You can't stand it sometimes, you're so happy. All right, Karina? She's going to explode. I love it. And that's what we want, you to explode with happiness and joy. Show the world that it's possible to be happy no matter what you think's going on out there. And that's when we begin to celebrate. We celebrate our oneness and in our diversity, allowing ourselves and our differences to be something that unites us rather than separates us. I'd like to read to you, I brought with me Unity Worldwide's diversity statement from their website. We at Unity recognize and honor the divine within as the one common denominator that we share on our human journey. The divine within. We recognize that we share it. The living heart of Unity understands and manifests its support of this divinity by recognizing there is an inherent good in all people. Unity Worldwide Ministries, its members and affiliates, welcome with love all people in every form of God's creation, regardless of how that creation presents itself. It is the intent that Unity organizations are inclusive and non-discriminatory. We honor all components that contribute to the diversity of our community. We affirm and support Unity programs and principles that manifest diversity in our teachings, our policies, in our buildings, and within our communities. We are resolute in walking the course of human rights and social justice for all. Yeah, woohoo! He said, yeah, that's incredible. And that's part of our growing spiritual movement. That's part of the movement that we share as a human family of spiritual awakening. And that's where all the power is. It is not found in getting together and agreeing on how to manipulate and control other people. That is not power. That is weakness. And it just continues to show your weakness. Let it go. Don't even play that game and don't be a part of that little drama. It doesn't matter. Your mission and your function as a teacher of divinity is to be divine, is to eliminate all that stuff in yourself, all that competition and all that judgment. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, red, yellow, brown, olive skin. What does that matter? What does that matter? Go out in the sun for a few days and it'll change. Stay inside for a few months and see how white you get. You might start growing a beard. Some of you haven't been around for so long, you grow beards while you were gone. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. And it doesn't matter what your background was. I mean, I grew up Catholic. A lot of us grew up in other religions. What we're attempting to do is allow all of that to be transformed into an amazing moment of self-realization, where I can realize that however I have characterized God in the past, that can be new today. That if God is love and only love, I can recognize that today. As Kathy said, this can be, or was it Patricia in the meditation? She said, can be the greatest day of your life, starting right now. And in fact, if it's not, then decide that it will be. Because you're the decision maker. Unity has been characterized by some people as a movement of radical inclusion. And that means that no matter where you are in your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. And we say this every week in our welcome. And it's not about you have to agree with our doctrine. We don't actually have a doctrine. We have a spiritual philosophy. We don't have a doctrine. We don't have dogma. There's no particular rules that you have to go by except the rule of seeing the divinity within each other. Now, what that includes is going to be up to you. What that includes will be your own path and your own process. And the wonderful thing is your process is going to look different from mine. And I want to know what that is. I want to interact with you because that's part of our shared process of spiritual awakening. Wherever you're coming from, you're welcome here. You can make this your spiritual home. The Fillmores actually just started Unity as an educational movement, an education of how to practice spiritual principles as part of the great teachings of Jesus the Christ. He inaugurated a movement of education of who we are, the power of what we are, the power of our mind to manifest the reality that we want in accordance with the love of God. He set forth a demonstration of how each and every one of us can manifest an amazing, incredible, miraculous reality. And there are many paths to this awareness. What we say is that no single path is right for everyone, not even our own. You might find it through Lao Tzu. You might find it through the Buddha. You might find it through dancing. You might find it through art and music and all of those things. And maybe all of that is part of your journey. And that's why it has to be all-inclusive. Because all of that is part of your journey. All of life is included in with your spiritual walk. It's not separate. It's all part of the same thing. So wherever you are in your spiritual journey, the important thing is that you have found a safe and loving place. A safe and loving place to discover who and what you really are. We're not trying to be all things to all people, but we are offering a place where you can find and discover your spiritual path. The truth that you are. Instead of giving you like limited prescription of religious doctrine. And that's why it seems so difficult for some people, because it's your discovery. It's not like a prescription. Take this pill and call me in the morning. Take this book and call me next week. No, you're going to have to read all the books. You're going to have to read all the books. You're going to have to do all the meditations. You're going to have to sing all the songs. You're going to have to discover what works for you and what makes you happy. Because that's the most important thing. Is it really, truly bringing you joy in your heart, what you're doing? And if not, I would say let's include a little more. Let's include more people in with our life. Accept a few more people as they are. Accept a few more experiences. We're afraid to have new experiences. We're afraid to move out of our box, our comfort zone. It gets to be, I'm very comfortable in this zone, and so I'm going to protect it from all this stuff out here. That's fear-based thinking. And this is not fear-based thinking. This is love-based thinking. Allowing more people into the realm of my consciousness, because we are one in truth. And your path is always going to shift and change no matter where you start out. It will wind its way through your life according to your decision, according to your direction, and according to your discovery. It's going to keep changing according to what you discover every day. Allow it to change. See the magnificence in everything in this world. It's a wonderful lesson. I think it's lesson 29 of A Course in Miracles. It says, God is in everything I see. And so that day, for that one day, you're asked to just go around and look at things and just say, God is in that chair. God is in that person. God is in these glasses. God is in this piece of paper. Wow. God is in these lights. Pretty soon, you start seeing how wonderful and beautiful everything is. And you start feeling that there is something divine within each and every molecule and every atom of life. And that's how I want to be every day, is seeing God in all things. I think it was Yogi Bhajan who said, if you don't see God in everything, you won't see God at all. That's interesting. So that's gonna challenge me to start seeing God in everything. And, you know, Papaji is a guy from Lucknow, India. He's passed into spirit now, but he used to teach that you don't see God in everything because you're not seeing God in yourself. So put those two things together. I want to see God in everything. Where am I going to start? Okay, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's dedicate ourselves every day to remembering who and what we are. Let's make it our primary goal and our primary dedication. And then from that point, we can start including everything. Radical inclusion. You know, in the Bible it said, love God above all things. Well, I'm good with that. Love your neighbor as yourself. That sounds pretty good too. But then Jesus said to me, why don't you now love your enemies? Oh, I'm not going to do that. No way. That's why they're my enemies. I don't agree with them. They're hurting me. They're blah, 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 blah. No. Stop. Pray for them that use you. Bless those that curse you and abuse you. Be good to those. You know why? They need it the most. Are you kidding? They're hurting. They're hurting and they're feeling separate and they're judging people out there as separate and people out there are my problem and I have to keep them out of my life. No. But do you think I'm going to change their mind with the same kind of thinking that they're using? No, I have to pray for them. I have to bless them. I have to really include them in with that second principle of unity that says there's a spark of divinity in that one, no matter how they're showing up or no matter what they're doing. It doesn't mean they're right, but it doesn't mean I'm right either. It means there's something beyond being right. It's that old famous saying, do you want to be right or would you like to be happy? I want to be happy. I'm going to be happy. No matter what you think is going on out there, it's not going to affect who I really am. So my mission now is to share my happiness with you, is to share my joy with you, is to share the joy that I find through including other people, the joy that I find in welcoming others and not holding them outside of myself. And I need to demonstrate that for myself first. It will become apparent that will be a good way for you to also find happiness. But you're going to have to practice it by seeing an example. We have to be examples of that which we teach. It's not always easy. It's a lot easier just to spout the concepts. It's a lot easier to read the spiritual literature and share it with your friends who are like-minded. And it's a lot of fun, actually. But when you come up against somebody that doesn't believe the way that you do, someone who doesn't have the same experiences, that's where the rubber meets the road. Can you really demonstrate the Christ in that situation? in those circumstances. Because remember, we do share one thing, and that is the divine within. That is our common denominator. And that's where I want to meet you, in our common denominator. And that's really, for me, a great practice. You know, I have a friend, James Twyman. He goes around the world. He goes consciously and purposefully to places of conflict. He's been to Iraq. He's been to Serbia. He's been to the border of Syria. And what he does is go and pray and sing music. He sings his prayers in these places. He went to the Church of St. Francis of Assisi, and he had a revelation there where he received the 12 prayers for peace for all the world religions. And in those 12 prayers, he put them to music. And he just goes to these places of conflict and he prays. If there's 2 sides, both sides. If there's 10 sides, all the sides. It doesn't matter. I'm praying for each and every individual to remember who they are, to stop using their brothers and sisters to hurt themselves. Because when you hurt someone else, you're really hurting yourself. Because we really are just one. Even physically, we're one. You know, some fun facts about DNA. You know, you share a lot of DNA with a banana. 43% of your DNA you share with a fruit fly. 97% with a chimpanzee. And all the atoms and all the molecules are constantly moving in and out of your body. So what was making up your body just a few moments ago, now making up the other guy's body? I'm not kidding. A year ago, not one cell in your body is the same as it is today. You are completely new and completely different. That's the regeneration. The regeneration of the physical manifestation through the constant, energetic movement of the love of God, which makes up this universe. So the love of God is always cleaning out the old you, and you're brand new each and every day, each and every moment. What keeps us in that place of separation, of conflict, of sickness? Our own thoughts. Do you know you have a new body every day? Why doesn't it appear new? Because you have old thoughts about your new body. You're brand new every day. It's amazing.
Why do the new cells look older than the cells I used to have?
Yeah, why do the new cells look older than the old cells? I used to. They don't, Bruce. You're looking young. You're looking younger. These guys don't know how young they are.
It's the evolution of love and wisdom.
All right. Woohoo! The evolution of love and wisdom. And that comes through including others totally in your circle of love. If love and wisdom is going to be your evolution, the more you love, the more you evolve. And that's pretty wise, my friend. That's wisdom in action. So we have an opportunity, we have a challenge, and we do have a mission. Our opportunity is to be in remembrance all the time of who we are, how powerful we are. The challenge is to include everyone in that experience. And the mission really is to let that be the peace on earth that I seek. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin with me. I love you guys.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.